All right, guys, let's welcome the one and only Zakk Wylde to talk to me here, notfest.com. Zakk, how are we doing today?
Oh my, I'm doing great, man. Just like I said, we're just having some Valhalla Java and some Modem Force going on. Yeah, getting ready for just getting ready to do some more Metallica dates, I guess, on the weekends.
We'll dive into it, man. I mean, the next show you got Foxborough up there. Are you going to walk in with an Eli Manning jersey on? That's what I need to know.
Oh yes, of course, man. So but no, I could just better yet, not forget forget the Manning. I just walked in with my New York Giants jersey. We beat them twice.
I know that's what I'm saying, man. You gotta represent while when you can.
Exactly. But no, I love Tom Brady's amazing. So you gotta love Captain America over there.
Let's talk a little bit about Berzerkus Fest before we dive into anything else, man. What was kind of the antithesis behind you kind of diving into your own little fest?
Just it's basically me and you putting together a keg party like we did back in high school, and just get all our friends' bands to come down and play, and that's that. Just an excuse to get all our friends together and have a party. So it's pretty much born out of that. Because I was just always, we were playing festivals all the time, and I remember talking to Blasco. I go, why don't we just start our own festival? You know what I mean? It's pretty much, I mean, really the mentality of it is no different. When I tell younger kids, it's just like when you start your own band and everything like that. You have any advice for my son or daughter? It's just, you do it exactly how you did it when you were in high school, except it's just a bigger version of it. You know what I mean? So, there's nothing really, I mean, the core of it doesn't change. So, but no, it's pretty much, that's pretty much what it came down to. So I said, I would just start our own thing. So we just rounded up. Basically, I'm friends with all the bands that are on there.
Mhm.
I've known them for years. So I just reached out to everybody, and then and then we have Father Jinks over there getting ready to throw down on it. So it'll be as far as like all the acts that we grabbed on that thing, it's just people I've known for years.
Yeah, Cody Jinks is one I wasn't familiar with, and when I just actually was just listening to him before we started recording, and I think I found my new favorite artist. Like I'm actually like as soon as we get off this, gonna dive right back into that, man. That is some great stuff.
That was great. He kicks ass, man, for sure. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, and you've got like a car show going on. You've got a battle of the bands. You've got a lot going on here, man. It's not just
Well,
it's not
right for
just
time, we gotta
yeah.
have we got it's just a ton of stuff going on, man. It's gonna be great. Beer tasting, you got the coffee, you got the food trucks, we got everything going on.
Um, let's dive into a little bit of the Pantera, man. As soon as this was announced, it was going to happen. I'm a card carrying member of, got the CFH tattoo on the wrist. I was ready to go. Obviously, there was a lot of like naysayers, a lot of people upset about this whole thing. But I think over time, I think people are warming up to the whole idea of it, and even some of the naysayers that I saw have gone to the shows and are now bought in, man. So it's great to see everybody kind of calming down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. To me, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, we're out there celebrating Dime and Vinnie and Phil and Rex, everything the fellas created. So, I mean, to me, it's no different than when we do, when I go out and I do the Experience Hendrix thing. So, I mean, like we're all out there between Kenny Wayne Shepherd and everybody. It's just like we're all playing Jimi's stuff and celebrating him. So, there's greatness. So, I mean, that's basically what we're doing every night. And, me and Charlie have both known the fellas forever. So, you know, and we were there when we had the later fellas to rest. So it's just, I mean, to me, it's a beautiful thing just carrying on what they created, so everybody can experience the music every night. I mean, it is pretty crazy. I mean, every night when Phil asks the audience, he's just like, well, how many people here, the Pantera faithful, everybody that's been there since the beginning. And then he asks, he goes, how many out there that this is your first time hearing these Pantera songs live? It's like mind blowing. I'd say it's almost like 80% of the crowd. I mean, for a lot of, because I guess it's the equivalent of, for me, I never got a chance to see the original Zeppelin.
Right.
So, you know, for me, I mean, uh, you know, going out and when you see Jason Bonham playing with them, you know, when they did the thing in 2007, it was amazing, and Jason crushed it. So to me, I thought it was a beautiful thing. So, you know, because you're celebrating their lives and what they created.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did you or did the camp kind of anticipate that initial backlash that the announcement got?
No, I mean, to me, it, I'm going out there to celebrate my buddy, so I really couldn't care less what anybody thinks. I mean, to me, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's no different than us, you know, when I'm playing with Ozzy and we're playing Randy's stuff every night. To me, it's the same difference. It's the same
Yeah.
thing, you know. So I mean, it's just like, what is wrong with that? But how are you finding anything bad in this? To me, I couldn't care less.
The one thing that I saw the first Indianapolis show. I've seen this reunion 3 times now, or celebration, whatever we're calling it, 3 times now. But that first one, man, we showed up a little early, pre-gamed in the parking lot. I mean, people were throwing the football. I mean, it looked like the '90s out there again. I mean, everybody was had their grills out and their beers out, blasting Pantera. Going to the show, obviously, you guys, Lamb of God, it was an amazing show. But the one thing that really caught me was on the way out, and just you could feel like such a positive vibe, and everyone's smiling, and people were like, "Man, it reminded me of '95." It reminded me, it took me back. Like, leaving that show was still one of the best feelings. You could just feel like 18,000 people just in a good mood, and it was great.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it's all about, you know. So it's the same thing, you know. When Yeah, I remember when I saw, you know, I guess I saw him with Bernie Torme. So I saw him even before Brad Gillis. But I remember everybody in that place, and I got a chance to tell Bernie Torme. I was like, I was at that show at the Garden. He was like, oh wow. I was like, no way. And I was just like, yeah. I said we were all just getting chills hearing you playing Randy's stuff, you know, because it was just but you know, basically because Bernie's honoring Randy. So
Right.
uh you know, so I mean, for me, I didn't think. I was just like, this is like amazing. So because you're celebrating Randy. So, and to me, it's the same difference when we're doing with the Pantera celebration. Same thing, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff. How is the for you, when that curtain drops every day, when you're doing a new level, and just that initial like sight of the crowd, what's going through your mind there?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, the whole, I love every second of the show from the beginning to the end, man. So I mean, obviously when we're doing floods, I mean that's that one I get pretty choked up doing that one, especially the end bit, the outro of Dimes, because it's just me by myself. But I don't see the video screens that are behind me, but I've seen, well obviously when I've seen the footage of it, it's just like wow. It's just yeah, I mean it's just pretty much on a dry eye in the house on that one. But yeah, I definitely get choked up doing that one when we do floods. But no, the whole, and everybody in the camp, everybody's just all great people. I mean, we've all known each other. The fellows in the band, we know each other. But I mean, as far as the whole camp and the crew, we've all known each other from various tours and things. So it's just it's on like one gigantic family out there. So I mean, the whole vibe. It's just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Um, when it comes to like doing like Randy's and Jake's and Dime solos, and just kind of, is there a point when you're kind of sitting down with those solos and you can anticipate probably where they're going to go next, because you've gotten so used to like their phrasing and the way that they play guitar? You're like, I bet they're going to do this next, or you have a feeling, maybe this part of the solo is coming up.
No, I mean, obviously, from being a kid, learning them, and uh, like you said, I mean, it's really awesome getting a chance to play all of it. I mean, I love Jake, I love Randy, and obviously, we just got done doing a run with Zakk Sabbath down in South America. But I mean, that's always a blast too. It's like pretty hysterical. I mean, it's just like as far as like the Zakk Sabbath thing goes, it's just like playing keg parties when I was 16, 17 years old, and now I'm 57 years old playing, Into the Void and War Pigs, except there's a couple more people. But it's still the same thing. But it's just like, it just goes to show you how timeless the music is. You know what I mean? But no, I have a blast doing it all, man. I'm truly blessed, man. For sure.
Um, some of those first Pantera shows, they did them in, you guys did them in Mexico and like South America, and every time I see a show from that area, I'm just like, man, those fans are, if I was in a band again, I would never play the States. I would just want to play South America because those crowds are absolutely insane. Probably some of the best, footage I've seen. So probably some of the best, opening footage, for Pantera to kind of put out there.
No, I completely agree with you, man. Just their passion for life in general, man. It's just like everybody's all in. I'm talking everything, man.
Yeah.
That's out of the Pantera celebration shows. All the way down to just the steakhouses alone, man. But no, I love it down in South America. The people down there, they're amazing. They're just really super cool. Everybody just loves life. It's like, it's like Dime and Vinnie on steroids, everybody. You know what I mean? Just everybody just loves life.
One thing I've always talked about on the show is and which you're great at too, is you're great at social media, throwing up a quick video on Instagram or something like that. But I think Dimebag would have been amazing at TikTok, Instagram Reels, Vine, any of that stuff over the years, man. I think he would have just been an absolute monster in the social media realm.
Just because it's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Don was hilarious to begin with, but I'm just saying, without a doubt, he'd be having a blast with it for sure. Totally. He'd be on it all the time. You couldn't get him off of it. He was already doing it back before there was social media. You know what I mean? With all the Dime Vision things and everything like that, just putting the goofiest stuff together he possibly could. So yeah, he'd definitely be having a blast with it for sure.
Yeah, that was some of that was one thing about Pantera's growing up is you knew not only Pantera, but you knew the crew because they were all in the Pantera home videos, and if you go to a party, you throw that Pantera home video on, and then you go out to the shows and you see everybody. You're like, oh, that's Big Val, or that's this, or that's that. You knew everybody.
Oh, totally. It was just one roaming circus, man. I remember, whenever the guys were around, it was just like, oh no, not these guys again.
Oh, here goes my liver. But yeah,
exactly. Always.
You talked about earlier about knowing the guys over the years. Do you remember the first time you met Charlie? You met Rex, met Phil?
Charlie. Me and Charlie, first Ozzy gig I did in the States was with Anthrax and Ozzy. It was in Pensacola, Florida. Yeah, me and Charlie talk about it all the time. But yeah, it was Anthrax supported that No Rest for the Wicked tour. So I've known Charlie since then, when I first joined Ozzy.
And then Phil and Rex.
Now the fellas, I ended up meeting the guys. Actually, first time I met all the fellas was when we did Pantera played Donington, and I played there with Pride and Glory.
Oh,
so
wow.
we opened up the main stage that day, and then I remember Aerosmith was headlining, and then because I've known Father Nuno over there, Bencourt, so with Extreme. So Extreme was on the bill, Pantera was on the bill that day. So but yeah, so seeing all the fellas, that was probably what, 1994, 93 or 90, it was probably 93, I think. 93 or 94, Donington. But yeah, so I've known, that's when I first met all the guys.
You talked a while back about going online and going on YouTube and watching some tutorials on how to play some of the Pantera stuff, but which I think is amazing. I think it's awesome that you go online to kind of, what's this part right here? Maybe not.
Totally.
Maybe not nailing it, man.
Without a doubt, it just makes it that much easier where you just, we never had that back in the day. Back you just constantly, you have to just listen to the record over and over and over and, just figure out and try and figure out how you're playing a part. I think if you ask most guitar players, a lot of times you'll learn it harder than what it naturally is until somebody will show you, and it's just like, oh wow, I was playing it completely harder than the way it is. You know what I mean? So I mean, me and JD always talk about that. You know, back in the day when you're first learning, you always learn it like insanely hard, and then it's just like, you finally learn it the correct way it's played. Is just like, oh, uh, that's all it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like I'm sitting here like doing 12 fret stretches and stuff like that, and it's just like, no, it's not like that at all, bro.
Just a
So
power chord, man.
yeah, but the YouTube videos are great. I mean, for sure.
Any of the Pantera stuff? Obviously, you're Zakk Wylde, so this is gonna be a dumb question, but anything tough for you that you're like, man, that took a little bit to get?
No, what I just found really awesome was, Dime's. I mean, the reason why we're still talking about Dime's greatness and everybody and all the guys that we love, whether it's King Edward, St. Rhoads, Jimi Hendrix. I mean, all the guys. So it's what they wrote. Aside of Dime's great technique and how amazing he was and how fast he could play and everything like that, it's what he wrote. Just like with Randy and Eddie and everybody. I mean, all the guys that we love. So, no, but Dime's writing, like his chord choices and everything like that. It's just like, oh wow, check it out. It's just like that's definitely really cool. So, uh, a lot of unexpected, pre-choruses and things like that. It's like, oh wow, I can't, I wonder what made him go there. Like really interesting chord choices. But yeah, for sure. I mean, going through, learning the whole catalog and learning deeper cuts and everything like that, I was like, wow, check it. This one's pretty cool. I mean, but like, I mean, even the pre-chorus to like Walk, or even just the opening riff. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's just a lot of the chord choices would end up becoming like they're dissonant, where that's obviously what Dime's going for, is the dissonance, whereas opposed to something that would be like if it was a more ear pleasing chord choice, but it would sound routine, and you could just tell Dime was going for, no, that's where everybody expects us to go, so let's go here. You know what I mean? So everyone expects us to make a left turn, let's make a right. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh wow, that's definitely interesting. So yeah, that's what I found going through, learning all the material and everything like that. So for sure. So that to me is what puts Dime in that league with all the guys we love. Whether it's Jimi Hendrix, whether it's Eddie and Randy, it's his writing.
Yeah, and I've always said I don't think Dime ever played a note that he didn't mean, like feel with his entire body, kind of that Stevie Ray Vaughan, feel to him.
But I mean, it's just like, but his writing, I could see him going, no, 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 that seems too typical. Let's just try this. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's my take on it.
Um, one thing is not talked about enough is how amazing of a bass player Rex is, and just that kind of a secret weapon, and all that stuff Dime's doing, but what's going on underneath with Rex too, man. Kind of talk a little bit about Rex a little bit.
Rex is phenomenal, man. I mean, just rock solid, man. I mean, it's just like, and a lot of the fast stuff in there, he's doubling everything with me. So, I mean, Rex is phenomenal, man. And his bass tone every night, Rex is just crushing it every night, man. He's like the Rock of Gibraltar back there. And Charlie, playing with Charlie and Rex is, I mean, Charlie's just in a league of his own. I mean, as far when it comes to that genre of music, I mean, Charlie's just, forget about it. He's just, I mean, he's one of the guys, that is just, you need that done. If that's the mission you need accomplished, you're reaching out to Father Charlie. So yeah, Charlie's just, and like you said, I mean, Charlie's, his timing and his meter. I mean, every night it's just like Rex. He's just like the Rock of Gibraltar back there. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, Charlie. I love the attitude that he's kind of put out there from what he went into not only grab some of those Vinnie Paul tones, but actually make sure he's playing the parts like Vinnie and not just playing the parts, you know.
Yeah, no, it's always, he's phenomenal, man. I mean, it just, forget about it. He's in a league of his own for sure.
A couple other random things I was thinking about, I was like, what can I talk to Zakk Wylde about? And one of the dumbest things that I've ever, let's see, one of the more ridiculous things you've ever done, I guess, was that appearance on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And, Master Shake, I've to this day, I'm like, it's more like, Zakk Mild, he calls you Zakk Mild in that. And I laugh about that probably once a month. And
I remember when I actually got, they asked me to do the reading for it. I remember we went to a studio. I think it was like on the Oz Fest when we were out on back in the day when that was going down. So we ended up going to the studio and I read the script and everything like that. And then when I was just like, what kind of drugs are these guys? I was like, whatever it is they're drinking, definitely hooked me up, man. So I mean, it was just, all I remember is when I saw the final thing of it, I was on the floor crying, man. I mean, it was just like, I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So I thought it was hilarious for sure. I mean, the show is great anyways. I mean, but it's just like, yeah, so like I really didn't even know that much about the show before I ended up, before I got the script and I read the part, but absolutely hilarious. I mean, the show is great anyways, like I said.
yeah.
So I mean, aside of the episode that I'm in, I mean, the show is just like friggin' hilarious.
Yeah, I think they're trying to rewrite the birthday song and trying with some
That was
ridiculous
great.
stuff.
That was great.
And
So
then they put you in like some
ridiculous.
sort of weird rundown Chuck E. Cheese, and yeah, it's
Totally
I wish I was gonna
ridiculous,
write down
man.
they gave you the name of your band was ridiculous too, but I needed to write that down, but I did not.
Zakk
Um,
Wylde and the hoedown something. I don't know,
yeah,
but it was
we'll,
ridiculous.
we'll have to add it in here. One more thing before we wrap up, man. I do kind of a side like audio autopsy where we go back and we talk about certain albums, certain songs, and one of the greatest, heaviest riffs of all time, I think, is in No More Tears, man. Just talk about that riff, man, and just kind of where that came from.
Well, I mean, obviously, I got that at the Lord Iommi garage sales, so it's just I was sitting behind a plate or whatever, and I was like, how much for that one over there? And he was just like, oh, it's like $8.26 or something like that. So, I mean, with the flat five in there and everything, it's just dun, 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 dun. I mean, so it's just, that's, Lord Iommi. I mean, the genius of Tony Iommi is, he basically created his own style of music. So, you have blues, you have classical, you have country, you have jazz, and then you have Sabbath. It's its own style of music. So, but no, it's just, I mean, that's what it is. So I remember when we were doing it, I remember how that song came about. I mean, Mike was just messing around on the bass, with the da-da-dum-dum-da-da in rehearsals. And Mike came up with that bass line. Again, Randy, pretty much exactly that drum fill that he played on the record. He just started doing that. And then John Sinclair started playing that, the keyboard intro. And then, my love for Skinner and the Allman Brothers and everything like that. I had the slide in my hand and I, just almost kind of like trying to do like a Freebird kind of thing.
Right.
And that was the intro. And then when we stopped, it was, like where the bass is still going with the drums, almost kind of like a call and response thing, like a War Pigs thing. You know what I mean? Where it just, instead of just being straight up a cappella, where Ozzy just sings and then the band plays, it was, bass and the drums, and then I'll play the riff, and then we'll go back to Ozzy singing again. So, but that's, and so I was just figuring, well, what kind of riff am I going to play here? So obviously, I pulled out of my, my Lord Iommi Rolodex of riffs over there.
Yeah.
So, just like throw a flat five in there and you got Lord Iommi. So, but that was the inspiration for that.
Yeah, great one. As we wrap up, man, you've been doing the Metallica and the round shows. Obviously, Metallica, Pantera, what a crushing bill to begin with. But how have you enjoyed that stage, man? That stage looks insane.
No, I mean, it's crazy. It's just, I mean, it's just, I've played kitchens, I've played people's basements, I've played, so, I mean, you know, you just show up and you play. People are like, how are you going to practice for that? I go, doesn't matter. Just, you know, just give me the guitar and let's just go. So we'll figure it out when we get there. So, but I remember even the first show that we did, I think it was in, might have been MetLife Stadium or something like that, or, you know, with the Giants in Giant Stadium. And it was, you know, because when you have your in-ears, there is no we have no cabinet on stage.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, there is no monitors on stage. So you have your in-ears, and this way you could hear, you know, you could hear everybody. So it doesn't matter. So my in-ears went out, you know, just because of the radio frequencies and that. So I was just playing. I mean, the drums, Charlie's like, you know, 100 yards away from me over there, halfway across the stadium. So as I mean, the drums sounded like cardboard boxes. So what I'm hearing is, and I have my amps are in isolated cabinets. So I can't hear you know, I can barely, I'm hearing the guitars coming out of the PA. So, you know, I'm just hearing off the reflection of the crowd and everything like that. So from where I'm at. So it was just, that was the first show we did. And it was just like, all right, well, here we go. You know, I mean, you can either, what are you going to do? You can't stop. you gotta play, man. I mean, you know, the train is rolling. You can't, you know, it's just like, well, you know, hold on a second. I got to tie my shoes. It's like, no, there's no time for that. You know, it's just like, let's go. So you can either complain about it or you can just, you know, either cry in the corner, which I did for several minutes, and then, you know, then you just be a man, you know, and get up there and play. So, you know, but, you know, after I got done crying and everything like that, and, you know, and shaking in fear, I just got up there and did it. But, no, it was just, yeah, it was fine. I mean, I think, you know, as far as the in the round thing, I mean, you just adapt to wherever you're playing, whether it's in someone's kitchen, you got the pantry over there. If you want me to get you a snack or something like that, you can do that. And then we're playing in somebody's basement, in their living room. I've done that before as well. So, no, you just deal with it, man. But no, it's a blast. I mean, and you know, obviously, you know, playing to those crowds every night. I mean, you know, Metallica, it's amazing. I mean, just the enormousness of it. So it's great. And the guys are awesome. And like you said, it's truly awesome. That's all I can say is, I mean, you know, so every night. So I'm looking forward to going back out there and doing the shows again.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And so when you're playing and you're like, oh, there's people over here too. There's people like every time
there's people in
look
the
around.
pit, there's people everywhere. I mean, it's packed every night, man. So I mean, like you said, it's truly awesome.
Do you make it a
And the
point to try
Metallica
to?
guys, I mean, they say, you know, they sound crushing every night. You know, every time when you're watching them, and the production and the show, it's truly phenomenal.
Are you when you're on that stage? Are you trying to make it? You know, make sure you're playing to the pit, playing to the guys. You know, like trying to walk around, or are you just trying to put on a good show and hopefully everybody gets there?
Yeah, you gotta take care of drink orders for everybody. You gotta get, you know, everybody over here. Somebody wants a drink over there. Somebody wants a drink over there. Someone wants some nachos. Somebody wants a pretzel. You know, so you just gotta take care of everybody out there. You know, as our, you know, Pantera celebration barmaid, I just got to make sure I'm going out there. You got to make sure everybody's happy, you know?
You got to wear the outfit, man. You got to.
Yeah, without doubt.
When you play places like, you know, Met Stadium, obviously being a Giants fan, you're like, oh man, this happened here, or this play happened here, or you walk in with a little bit of extra fandom, you know, for what happens there?
No, yeah. Well, I mean, I saw the Giants. I remember with my father, we went to see, I saw Walter Payton with the Bears. I saw Walter Payton and Larry Zonka, actually, when Zonka was with the Giants. So,
Nice.
and I remember the game went into overtime, and it was sleet, snowing, raining, and then we were just out. So we weren't underneath the mezzanine, and the game went into overtime. And I remember my dad, he saw, because I wanted to stay and watch the game, so we actually stayed and watched completely into overtime, and the Giants actually ended up winning. But I mean, but yeah, so I remember that memory vividly, just freezing. I mean, it was even raining, and like it had to be like 10 below. I mean, it was just like ridiculous, man. So, but yeah, my dad was awesome. He just thought he was a trooper enough to, like, because he could see that I wanted to stay and watch the game. But yeah, I saw the original. So that was the first time I was ever in a new stadium. You know, I mean, MetLife Stadium now, but the old Giant Stadium when Lawrence Taylor was playing and everything like that. That was the stadium I remember.
Nice. One question from Patreon from Tim. What was your most memorable show? I'm assuming this is from the career, so does one jump out at you?
I mean, obviously, it would have to be probably my first Ozzy show, in Pensacola, Florida, first arena show, and then obviously meeting Ozzy, and then uh, that the first Pantera show we did in Mexico was, before that Kabuki drop, I had like the same adrenaline rush as kind of like doing the first Ozzy show. Just like, wow, this is like, you know, like just the adrenaline of just, going on the highest roller coaster you could possibly find just before it goes down. You know what I mean? So it was just, that was the adrenaline rush in that one too. So without a doubt, those two shows are pretty special for sure.
Do you get nervous, or is it just all adrenaline?
No, I mean, what I always tell kids, you got any advice from my son or my daughter or whatever, I go, yeah, like how was rehearsal the other day? They're like, oh, it was great. I go, yeah, just do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to like get myself psyched up and bang my head up against the wall. Like, like I don't do that. I just go, all right, like you've been here, you've done it. Let's just do this. You know what I mean? You just got to be relaxed when you get up there. You know what I mean? Just like it's another gig. That's all. Because if you put, what are you going to put on unwanted pressure and stress on yourself? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, like when the red light goes on, they freeze. Don't do that. Just be calm. Like, because when you're in rehearsals, nobody's there. You know what I mean? So you have to just go up there just like that. Like, yeah, just give me the guitar. Let's just go. You know what I mean? Whereas like, when you were 16, 15 years old, it's like, oh, I got to warm up. I got to warm up. I got to warm up for that. It's just like, because you got to make sure you're ready and, because you're just thinking all the time. You should just be able at this point, you've already put in the work. Just give me the guitar, let's go. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that. Just like jumping out of a plane, it's just like, well, I got to, what am I going to do? It's just like, dude, we've done this a million times. Just do it again. So you just got to be calm. That's all.
You're going to grab your Ultimate Warrior doll. You got to film it on your way to the stage.
And use the power of the Warriors. Yes, at all times.
Man, it's funny when you showed that. That was like my favorite wrestler of all time.
Said, always believe. Always believe.
Have you ever went back and watched his last speech before he passed away, and how insane
that was incredible. That's insane. Yeah. Like, he actually just gave his eulogy, and then the next day he was gone. Like, that was like pretty insane.
Yeah, the whole like, you never know when you're gonna breathe your last breath and all that stuff. And I'm like, and then he dies. Totally. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
No, without a doubt, man. But for sure. I mean, you can Google up that speech, on, just Google up Ultimate Warrior retirement speech. I mean, it's pretty insane. Definitely an inspiring speech for sure.
Yeah, it is. Crazy. Well, Zakk, man, I appreciate you taking the time today. Berzerkus, Saturday, September 14th. And man, I hope you guys have a great time up there, man. Cody Jinks, Black Label Society, Clutch, Rival Sons, all great bands. Mark Sprinkle from
we got everybody. Then we got the So guys. We got everybody out there. It's gonna be a good time, man, for sure.
It's gonna be a good time. And then obviously the UK European tour, January, February 2025 for Pantera. So good stuff coming up, man.
Totally. Love it.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for taking time.
Brother, take care, brother. I'll talk to you in a bit, bud.